نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Good, we've got the practice now. Of the hours that I've spent with you for the last 3-4 days, whatever it's been, whether I've been speaking to you in this kind of setting, whether you've been watching some of the videos that I put up through our various social media platforms, and on that point, many of you have asked, how do we keep in touch with our Institute's work once I've left? Well, I'm on numerous platforms, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Telegram channel, so it's not as though we know now our community is sometimes detached more from the masjid than it used to be, and that's a topic inshallah for Fajr. So we try to take the masjid to the people. So if you were to search on any search engine, you'll be able to find these social media platforms. You can join them, and then you can continue hopefully for the work that we do, whether it's fatawa, videos, or anything else, you can continue to inshallah ta'ala take benefit from. But in terms of the hours that I've spent with you, whether it's been in this setting or whether I've spoke to you privately, some of the queries that you may have had, I hope that I've gone in some way to demonstrate to you that Islam has been able to answer convincingly to your concerns. And if it hasn't been convincing, that's because of my weakness, not necessarily that Islam did not necessarily have an answer for you. So whatever aspect has been, and I've dealt with so many different queries, whether it's been personal problems, as in emotional relationships, whether there be relationships between husband and wife, relationships within the family. We had a long 1.5-hour question-answer session downstairs with the sisters. I'm assuming it was going out on the kind of radio, and it was here upstairs as well. So you can see there were lots of questions coming, and they were also quite varied across many topics. Or whether it's financial or anything of that matter, the queries have been dealt with. So that demonstrates, or I've tried to as best as possible, demonstrate to you that Islam has the answers. Sometimes you see, when the dentist tells us that we've got to cut down on sugary drinks, or when the GP tells us that if we carry on eating what we're eating, we're going to get diabetes, or something else, the news or the information that we get is not necessarily that easy to accept. So even though we may hear from within our deen and within our tradition things that we know to be true, but they're hard to accept and hard to change because we're sort of stuck in our ways. Like the advice we get from the dentist, the first week after you've been to the dentist, you brush your teeth like nobody's business. The week after that, you can't find your toothbrush. So, we are humans in that way, the Ibn al-Waqt I mentioned to you a couple of lectures ago. And that's really the basis for today's short lecture, which is life after Ramadan. And those of us who have had any sporting background or involved in some kind of sport now, you will know that when you're training, you spend a lot of time doing what's called drills, or doing the same thing repetitively. So whether that's doing some form of martial arts, you will learn certain moves and you will do those moves, so even if you're asleep, you're doing those moves. Whether it's football, whether it's squash, whatever it is, you learn a set process and you have to it's drilled into you. In fact, that's the phrase used. It's repeatedly, you go do it again and again and again and again. And you learn different things. Okay, you learn different things. Boxing is another thing. The boxer will spend hours in the gym, whether doing pad work or whether doing sparring or whatever. What he's trying to do is make the real life situation come into the gym. Now we know that the real life situation is very different than the gym, as I'm sure Mr. Joshua found out last night, that you can train all day long and you can expect to succeed. But when you go out there and you face the opponent, and there's so many other things you've got to take into consideration, because we're human at the end of the day. So as much as we drill ourselves, when we go there, the situation may get the better of us, we may not have slept too well, may not have been eating properly, might be feeling a little bit weak that day, and whatever it is, that situation gets the better of us and we fail. So similarly, we have also in Ramadan We've been given a siyam, which is a junnah, a shield, and we have spent time training our nafs, telling our nafs, I'm in charge. You're going to do what I tell you what to do. You ain't going to tell me what to do. So we then tell it, you're not going to eat. And we know the nafs likes to eat. Okay, and whatever it can get its hands on, it will justify it. So if we find a place which is selling food, we'll justify it's halal, whether we know it's or not, because we like it. But now we train that nafs that it can't even eat things which everybody accepts to be halal, like a glass of water. And we train that nafs, and the nafs succumbs to us. First few days are difficult, we know. But day 5, day 9, day 11, that nafs is happy with you. Yeah, we still can't grab the nafs properly, because as soon as we break fast, we let the beast out. And the beast eats everything that doesn't move, and sometimes even tries to eat that which is moving. Okay? Literally eats the dastakhan. Brothers have to pull the dastakhan out of your mouth just to put it back down. So we still haven't got full control of the nafs, because if we had full control of the nafs, then we would break fast. Normally, we wouldn't kind of like, hoard the food in until we literally can't move. We're close to vomiting. Whatever, because it's really the eyes that are eating, not the stomach that's eating. Because obviously it does take a while before you put something in your mouth and your stomach registers that you're full. So it's not fully under control, but it gets under control. We struggle to stand in prayer, yet alhamdulillah, all of you, mashallah, have stood for 27 nights, for an hour and a half in what can be considered warm temperatures, hot temperatures, and again you've controlled the nafs to do as you choose. But we are in the safety of our gym. We are in the safety of Ramaḍān. And we know that this is a shield for us. We're protected. So we know that our sparring partner is never going to hit us so hard that it's going to knock us out. He's not going to hit you that hard. We know that the guy who's working on our pads is going to do the same thing every time. Do the same thing, so we can do without eyes shut. And simply everything we do is like clockwork. It's only when we go out into the world that we're tested, when we can make a bit of quick money. It's a bit grey, it's quick money, I need that money. Then suddenly the whole gym training goes out the window. It's like, those of us who end up then, fighting in real life scenario, professional fighters. When you actually get into the ring or get into the fight, obviously the butterflies come in, the nerves come in, you can be as confident as ever, you're going to feel nerves, feel a little bit frightened, you're looking across at it. Suddenly all that training, everything you did just goes out the window for a split second, and you've got to try to really grip yourself and really get a hold of yourself and kind of talk to yourself that, I've been through this, I know what's going to happen, I know what's going to, I've been drilled, I've been trained to do this. So simply when we go out in the wide world and the situation gets the better of us after Ramadan, then we've got to also remind ourselves, hold on a second here. If I'm now going to buy this food, which I'm a little bit suspicious about where this food is from, subhanAllah, I wasn't even eating 3 weeks ago. Why should I get this for now? So again, you've got to remind yourself at the time you learn what you learned in the gym, so that you can apply it in that situation, so that you avoid it then as well. If it's salah time, and you sort of think, goodness, I don't want to go get, I don't want to play salah, I'm a bit tired, I'll do it later, whatever. Then remind yourself, hold on a second, I used to stand for an hour and a half in salah. Why can't I stand for 3 minutes? What's wrong? So really, after Ramadan, we have to keep that basis that we've trained. I guess if the Imam Sahib was a trainer here, he'd be blessing some of you guys now to go out and become professional fighters. He would be happy with you. He'd be saying, look, you've done well, you're ready for the world. What he doesn't want to do is you to fall over your shoelaces as you're walking out the stairs in the masjid. That's not really going to go too well. Because these are the things, you spent 30 days, you've been drilled and trained, and you just fell over your shoelaces on your way out. Come back inside. And for some of us, we will need that shield all the time. Why? Because it is a pretty dog-eat-dog world out there. It is a pretty tough world out there. And unfortunately, not everybody plays with the same rules that we're going to play with. So we might not want to lie, but the next brother's lying. But he's putting us in a difficult circumstances because he's lying, and now it's his word against mine. We might want to engage in transactions in a halal way. The next man who's our partner or who's helping us wants to deal in a different way. So it becomes a little bit more challenging, a little bit more difficult. So I will speak, inshallah, after Fajr about our connection with the masjid and how we continuously will need that gym. We can't just dissociate from the gym completely and think that we're going to survive in the big wide world out there. We've always got to come back to the gym. We've always got to reconnect, speak to the trainer, tell him our situation, how we're messing up outside, how we're getting beat up outside. So that he can then say, okay, what you're doing is you're not ducking when the right cross is coming. So he'll advise us, obviously I'm speaking metaphorically here, not that he'll necessarily train you how to deal with problems out on the street. So he will actually explain how we can overcome those problems, which is what I've tried to do from the understanding that I've had from the ustads I've sat with and also the books that I've studied. That's what I've been trying to say. When someone said, yeah, but I get caught in this situation all the time. So I said, well, try that, try this. Obviously, you don't know until the person goes out there and has to experience that himself and has to deal with that situation himself. So really what I'm saying, and I wanted to keep it short, to be honest, rather than keep it too long, because I think I've been talking a lot, is that use what you have learnt in these 30 days, 29 days, whatever it's going to be. And then go out and practice what you've actually learned. That's the key thing. Don't go and, again, I'm sorry for giving you a fighting analogy. You'll think that, all I do is fighting rifle or something. But it's, when you're speaking to, I do a lot of kind of work with lads off the street. And when you're talking to them, it's the kind of language they understand. So it's like when you get into a fight and, you know you're not supposed to throw punches like this. And you're supposed to throw straight across. And you learn all the exact punches you're supposed to throw. But as soon as you get into the fight, what do? That's what you do. It happens, doesn't it? The situation gets the better of you. And instead of going, hold on, what was it? Jump, hook, jump, whatever. What goes all out your head is just close your eyes and just flap your hand like that. And hopefully you hit more than he hits you. Now that's not what we want to do after Ramadan. We don't want to go out there and when situations come to us and we have to deal with situations that we just close our eyes and just get lucky. We don't. It's what did I learn? What did I listen to? What did I hear? What am I supposed to do in this situation? What am I supposed to do in this? And it's usually the guy who gets a grip of himself in the fight, who's watching you do this. He's looking at you like, because you're not even touching him, and he's thinking, what's this idiot doing? And he just looks and then goes, up like that, your nose goes like that, and that's it, you're out. So, the situation that we're going to deal with, panic, not thinking, forgetting everything we've learned, is going to get us a bust nose. We have to re-engage with what we heard from the ulama. We have to re-engage what we understood from the Quran if we were studying, or any of the books that we were reading from the ulama, and how situations are supposed to be dealt with as Muslims as we are. Your spirit, your soul is very strong right now, alhamdulillah. You may not recognize it. Think of yourself before Ramadan. Now think of yourself now. You have refined yourself. You are a spiritual warrior. But that spiritual, everybody knows any type of sport, any type of any type of thing you're involved in. If you're not continuously training, that's it. You can never stay stationary in anything in life. You can never be stationary, because when you're stationary, you're actually regressing. There's always got to be moving forward. There's always got to be moving forward. And obviously, why would you get yourself into a fight with a 6'10" bloke weighing 18 stone? It's not clever. So don't put yourself into scenarios, into life situations, which are going to test you more. Don't put yourself in those situations. Put yourself in situations where you're not going to be tested. If you've got a job where they're not going to give you time for salah, then why put yourself in that situation when you know that I'm going to struggle to pray salah anyway, once Ramadan is over, then I'm taking this job on which they're not going to let me pray salah. How am I really going to pick up, Should I really be stepping into the ring with that 6'10" bloke weighing 18 stone? Am I really that spiritually strong? And if you're not, then why do that? Go for the little guy. And okay, sometimes even the little guy can knock you out, so you've got to be careful. So it's about taking on those challenges out in the big wide world that you're spiritually ready for. And slowly we see how, I had a few conversations with a brother and I spoke about the maqam, the spiritual state that each person has. Now I haven't got too much time to go into the spiritual reformation and how our soul becomes strong. But suffice to say that when you breathe your last, you want to make sure that your soul is at its pinnacle. It's at its peak. Why? Because that's the manifestation you will get in your life. To do that, it takes time, it takes energy, it takes a lot of effort. And that's what is required. You've done that, alhamdulillah, through Ramadan. You've reached the stage which, if you look back, you hardly ever had reached. But you also know that there was Ramaḍān 1439, and there was Ramaḍān 1438, and there was Ramaḍān 1437, and you also went through Ramaḍān, and then you ended up a bit, astray. You ended up in scenarios where you kept losing. You lost your principles. You lost your, way of life. You lost how Islam was such a simple solution to all your problems, and now how your problems have got the better of you. And you could not see now the light in the darkness that you found yourself in. So it's a case of ensuring that this gym training that we've had, that we put that to good use. So, in simple terms, don't pick a fight that you ain't going to win. Walk away from that. Then when you are in a situation where you've got no choice, something is confronting you, you've got no choice, you did not put yourself in that situation fell upon you, that musibah fell upon you, you had no choice. Then in that case, no need to panic, no need to lose your trust in Allah, no need to lose faith, no need to think that, oh, yeah, but I've been praying 5 times a day for at least 2 days, and oh, look at this musibah that's come to me. Then it's the case you're saying, right, okay, I knew this was going to happen, I knew this was going to take place, I need to be calm. What training did I go through? Try to remember the gym, the masjid, try to remember what you went through, and then say, right, I'm now going to engage with this in that way. I'm not going to panic, I'm not going to freak out, I'm not going to just start screaming and shouting, I'm not just going to start blaming everybody around me, blaming my wife, blaming my kids, blaming my parents, blaming everybody but myself. I'm going to deal with this. I've been trained to deal with this. And if it becomes too difficult that this person you can't handle it at all, then there's always the gym. There's always a trainer who will always be there. Come, talk to him, explain your situation, and hopefully he will give you some guidance. But we all know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you immense strength and guidance. This is the beautiful thing about our deen, is we don't have a hierarchy. You don't need to come to me to say, can you ask Allah for this? Can you ask Allah for that? What does Allah say about it? You have a direct connection with Allah. Whereas we look within Christianity and even within Judaism, there's a hierarchy, there's a system you have to go through. Islam is direct. You can speak to your Rabb any time of the day, whenever you want. The only time we consult scholars is when it comes to matters of fiqh, matters of sharia, which they hold expertise for, which we don't have expertise. That's a different thing altogether. That's not about your conversation with Allah. That's not about your connection with Allah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who's going to put you in that situation, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who's going to take you out of that situation. So why tell everybody but Allah? We have a habit, don't we? Some musibah befalls us, we tell everybody but Allah. We don't sit to Allah and say, Ya Allah, I know you put this musibah upon me. I'm really struggling. But you must think I'm capable of doing this. So Allah give me strength to deal with them. Since you place this upon me, you're not a zalim. You will not put something upon me that I cannot handle. So you believe that I can handle this. But if that is the case, then Allah give me strength. So that I can deal with this and I stay true to my faith. I stay true to my deen. Because that's more essential to me, that I stay true to it. Yes, we may lose limb. Yes, we may lose family. Yes, we may lose our life. But the one thing we don't want to do is lose our faith. Because this life is already borrowed anyway. This body is already borrowed anyway. It came from soil and it will return to soil. You're not taking it anyway. The only thing that you're going to take, or what you are, is what's inside of it. And that's what you want to refine. So I did say short, and I've gone up to 20 minutes. Maybe those guys in Bradford don't understand what short means. But I will now finish. Be prepared for what the world has got in store. The same situations you have to deal with in your home are going to come back. The same situations you have to deal with in your work or anything else, they're all going to come back. They haven't disappeared. They will come back. But now you should be spiritually stronger to be able to deal with those. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all strength to be prepared for as He removes His mercy, as He removes His shield that He provided for us so that we were protected, and He continues to ensure that we stay steadfast. Amen. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.